Mr. McMurray, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman Lukemeyer, Ranking Member Beatty, and members of the committee. My name is Nicholas McMurray, and I'm the Managing Director of International and Nuclear Policy at ClearPath. This committee is vital in financing the global deployment of American clean energy. Today, the U.S. aims to renew its global energy leadership. Recently, the U.S. and over 20 allies pledged to triple global nuclear energy capacity by 2050. This commitment recognizes that reliable energy, like nuclear, is necessary to reduce global emissions while meeting economic development goals. However, the International Energy Agency's 2023 World Energy Outlook shows that existing policies make this goal incredibly challenging. In particular, the IEA projects that existing policies would only allow for a roughly 48% increase. Tripling global nuclear capacity means deploying nuclear power plants domestically and building American reactors abroad. Thus, we need policy changes. I'll cover several topics today. First, the US must remain competitive against China and Russia. Second, we must overcome financing obstacles for US projects. And third, we must reform burdensome regulatory requirements. While the US still has the world's largest domestic operating nuclear fleet of 93 reactors, the pace China is building reactors should be worrisome to anyone who wants the US to remain a leader. Currently, China has 55 operating reactors and is actively building more, while the US only has one commercial reactor under construction. It's obvious through China's Belt and Road Initiative and Russia's invasion of Ukraine that they want to exert their influence globally. They are both developing export markets and providing significant financial support for their nuclear deals. For example, Russia gave $25 billion in financing to Egypt, which was around 85% of the full project cost. And China recently announced it would provide the full cost of a new reactor, $4.8 billion, to Pakistan. This focus has led to China and Russia constructing 64 new reactors abroad since 2000. And since reactors operate for 60 years or more, those host nations will become dependent on China and Russia for decades. Fortunately, the US private sector is up to this competitive challenge. The shale gas boom in America is a perfect example of successful public-private partnerships, and the advanced nuclear market could see similar success. Congress can provide further direction to various government agencies by developing a US nuclear export strategy, supercharging US export finance tools, and removing red tape that prevents the scaling of nuclear technology. Unfortunately, the current US approach to exporting nuclear energy is fragmented. The process of exporting a reactor involves coordination among multiple entities, including departments of state, energy, commerce, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, the Ex-Im Bank, DFC, the US Trade Representative, the National Security Council, and others. Aligning these agencies is important, but innovative US nuclear companies are not operating in a fair and open market as they must compete against generous state-sponsored financing. In fact, between 2016 and 2021, China's financing of all global energy initiatives outpaced the combined contributions of all significant Western-backed development banks. Leveling the playing field for clean energy exports will require thoughtful policy reforms. To that end, legislation such as the bipartisan International Nuclear Energy Act would develop a civil nuclear export strategy. And the International Nuclear Energy Financing Act would require the US Executive Director at the World Bank to advocate for funding nuclear energy. The World Bank and other multilateral development banks play a significant role in the infrastructure planning worldwide, and they can be instrumental in increasing global nuclear deployment. Beyond financing, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission will almost certainly need to license a reactor design in the US before another country would be willing to build it. However, even after the NRC licenses a reactor, it still must receive export approvals and be licensed by the other country. Therefore, an efficient and agile US regulator is fundamental, not only for domestic deployment, but also for ensuring US competitiveness abroad. In conclusion, the US needs to be the global leader in nuclear exports, and there are solutions to accomplish that goal. An all-of-the-above clean energy strategy is the only viable path for achieving global emissions reduction targets. The world must quickly deploy clean, reliable, and affordable energy like nuclear power. And if the world and other international financing institutions reassess their nuclear energy policies rather than simply saying no, we'll be on a clear path. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Mr. McMurray.